A very good evening to you all, and many thanks for joining us here on Rwanda Television News. We hope you had yourselves a very productive day. Our top of our edition tonight is our headlines. Experts of the United Nations Standing Advisory Committee on Security Questions in Central Africa calls on African countries to work together to eradicate hate speech that targets a section of the country's population. The Vice President of Cuba, Salvador Antonio Valdez Mesa, who is on an official visit in Rwanda, states that Cuba plans on expanding cooperation with Rwanda in various sectors, including agriculture, biotechnology, and more. Glad to have your company once again, coming to you straight from the heart of Africa, Kigali. My name is Martina Avera. As we begin this edition, let us inform you that on Sunday, on the 19th of November, President Paul Kagame held discussions with White House Director of National Intelligence, Avril Haines, on the security crisis in eastern DR Congo. According to the Office of the President, the constructive discussions focused on ways to de-escalate tensions and address the root causes of the security situation in eastern part of DRC. Haines met with Rwandan President Paul Kagame and Congolese President Tshisekedi to secure commitments from both leaders to de-escalate tensions in eastern DRC, the White House said in a statement on Tuesday. Now, experts of the United Nations Standing Advisory Committee on Security Questions in Central Africa calls on African countries to work together to eradicate hate speech that targets a section of the country's population. This was reiterated in the opening session of United Nations Standing Advisory Committee on Security Questions in Central Africa that's happening in Kigali. Adam Squizera with more.
In the opening session of the 56th Ministerial Meeting of the United Nations Standing Advisory Committee on Security Questions in Central Africa, UNISAC, the delegates pointed out some of the security issues that still threaten the African continent, which are demonstrated as a key contributor to the increasing number of people being displaced and others being killed, which or that also abuses the children's rights as the consequences of that insecurity. Elisa Pereira Afonso de Barros, President of the UNISAC Expert Committee, noted that even though there are currently insecurity issues, all countries should comply with some of the laws and principles governing the rights of refugees.
Raising the project of creating a legal international framework with regards to the protection of internal displaced people, refugees, and to enable the improvement of their conditions and to foster opening ways to improve community development.
The participants urged some of the member countries of UNISAC to denounce hate speech and fight against terrorism in these countries. The Democratic Republic of Congo was given as a tangible example where the hate speech against Kinyarwanda speakers, especially those from Tutsi tribe, continues to escalate, which results to loss of lives. However, Elisa Pereira Afonso de Barros affirms that all this continues to be taken into account in almost all the countries of the region.
With regards to information about hate speech, sensitization and information actions were carried out in Burundi and in Cameroon, in Congo, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and in Gabon as well. With regards to maritime security in the Gulf of Guinea, Guinea Equatorial has indicated its representative at CREFMAC, and the Republic of Gabon also reported on its participation on the Megalops exercises, and Congo has contextualized illicit actions that occurred in their own maritime jurisdiction. With regards to violent extremism and terrorism in Central Africa, Chad, Congo.
The Director General of the Europe, Americas and International Organizations in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Ambassador Guillaume Kavaruganda, noted that as experts in this UNISAC ministerial meeting requested that this DRC should play a role in restoring peace and security. For us, what we want is a safe Congo, since when Congo is safe, it also facilitates the local trading with us. But mostly, the core of the issue is within their country itself. Once the country will be able to solve its issues, that would also help us. Even if they can ask for any help from us, we can deliver. Then for us, what we want is to see their countries secured, hence to facilitate the cross-border trade as well. The 56th Ministerial Meeting of the United Nations Standing Advisory Committee on Security Questions in Central Africa, UNISAC, is being held in Kigali under the theme of the prevention and the fight against non-constitutional changes. Adams Kwizera, RTV News.
The Vice President of Cuba, Salvador Antonio Valdez Mesa, who is on an official visit in Rwanda, states that Cuba plans on expanding cooperation with Rwanda in various sectors, including agriculture, biotechnology, and more. He reiterated this during the discussions held with the senior officials of the RPF in Inkotanyi. Olive Nete with more.
Before holding discussions with the RPF in Inkotanyi senior officials at the RPF headquarters in Rusororo, Salvador Antonio Valdez Mesa, the Vice President of Cuba, visited the Campaign Against Genocide Museum, where he was explained how the former RPF soldiers liberated the country. The Vice President of Cuba pointed out that beyond health and education sectors, they plan on expanding cooperation in other various areas.
Y también las relaciones en el orden económico y comercial.
We have also been speaking during our different meetings about other sectors in which we could cooperate in order to relaunch the development in economics and commercial relations between our two countries. Those are mainly two: agriculture from the Rwandan side and biotechnology and production of medics on the Cuban side. These matters have been discussed by both our presidents during their meeting on the occasion of a G77 and China summit held in Havana, and we have been following up as well as reviewing our agenda during the visit, and we will certainly be doing a follow-up on all this in order to reinforce the cooperation in the medical sector and then in other sectors of mutual interest that have been identified.
According to Console Uwimana, the vice chairperson of the RPF in Inkotanyi, they look forward to strengthen relations between the two countries and the two parties as well. This visit is in line with strengthening relations between the two countries. A number of things has been done, both in health and education sectors. But we as political parties, we also share cooperation and relations, and we believe that it will keep growing in the years to come. However, there is a suggestion they made regarding building relations between the Youth Forum and Women Forum and their association, but we are still revising it. We are looking how we can formalize our relationship with the Communist Party of Cuba. The visit is to strengthen the existing relationship between the two political parties, and we believe that we will keep expanding it for the benefit of the citizens of the two countries. Rwanda and Cuba have bilateral relations and cooperation, which has been ongoing for 44 years. The Vice President of Cuba is visiting Rwanda for the first time. In September 2023, His Excellency Paul Kagame, the President of the Republic of Rwanda, had an official visit in Cuba for the G77 and China summit. Olive Nete, RTV News.
The management of Rwanda Development Board, RDB, says that by January next year, the final study showing expansion borders of the Volcanoes National Park will be completed, indicating the list of residents to be expropriated. This was announced following complaints raised by MPs about residents that are limited from using their land, yet they have not been compensated. Sam Kalisa continues.
Deputies filed a number of issues during their visit to various districts in May and June this year, including the lack of national tourism master plan, which hinders investment, touristic and historic sites that need renovation, as well as those that have been renovated but not put to use.
One of the big issues indicated by sector players is that there is injustice when it comes to government tenders. I think you all see it when we are on the field visits. What they suggest is that hotels should be considered depending on the quality of services they offer other than classifications.
Twasuye abaturage bo mu murenge wa Bugeshi n'iriya mirenge iri iruhande rwa parike y'Ibirunga.
We visited residents of Bugeshi sector and other sectors neighboring the Volcano National Park. We found out that they have been limited to using their land for a long time now. The total land area is 2,000 meters from the national park. They told us that they are not allowed to use that land for anything else other than planting in pyrethrum. Since 2019 to today, that is a very long waiting period that denies citizens the rights to their property. It made me question what should come first between limiting the use of certain land area and doing a clear master plan. I think what should come first is initiating a clear master plan, then designating areas to be used and others restricted. Doing otherwise is depriving citizens of their rights.
Many issues still need advocacy, including touristic areas that lack basic infrastructure such as water, roads, slow or no internet connectivity, insufficient parking grounds, and the fact that some sector players are delayed when seeking operation permits. Another issue echoed by MPs is some of the people who open up ghost tour companies. RDB noted that it works with security organs to fight this kind of fraud. RDB CEO Francis Gatare reiterated that the tourism sector has seen a tremendous growth despite issues at hand, including headhunting capable employees following complaints of employing a big number of foreign workers. On emerging issues, the institution is working to provide durable solutions. They have the right to use the land for their own activities. However, it would be arrogant if we allow them to construct permanent buildings. Yet, it is well known that in the near future, they will be relocated and compensated due to expansion activities. That is why we are speeding up the feasibility study, which we expect to have been completed by January 2024. Then relocating and expanding the national park will begin. However, for now, they are allowed to use their land for any activities except constructing permanent buildings. On the issue of wild animals that destroy citizens' property, RDB noted that the law concerning compensation is currently under review. Sam Kalisa, Rwanda Television News.
The Director General of Burkina Faso National Police revealed that his country is willing to collaborate with Rwanda in fighting terrorism and other security threats on the African continent. The remarks were made on Tuesday as the Burkinabe police delegation was received by the Inspector General of Rwanda National Police, CG Felix Namhoranye. Prince Manzi has more.
After the discussions with the Inspector General of the Rwanda National Police, CG Felix Namhoranye, and other police officials, the Director General of the Burkina Faso National Police, Dr. Roger Oué, demonstrated that the security forces in his home country are facing challenges nowadays, but the partnership with the Rwanda National Police is one of the solutions to these challenges.
Les défis qui se posent à la sécurité intérieure au Burkina Faso sont les défis qui se posent un peu partout.
The challenges we have are also found elsewhere. You know that there are heavy crimes done in cities, cross-border crimes, and we have also encountered terrorism in Burkina Faso. The security forces are always on watch. We are glad that in this fieldwork, we were able to see how Rwanda has modern infrastructures for training counter-terrorism units. We have to benefit from this opportunity.
Y compris dans la lutte contre le terrorisme.
The Inspector General of the Rwanda National Police, CG Felix Namhoranye, demonstrated for the delegation what has been achieved for the past 23 years in collaboration with residents.
We have defined our security from a human security perspective. If someone is hungry, if someone is a potential criminal. If someone does not have a shelter, he is not safe, and we are in charge of safety. So the moment we define security in that widened perspective, that's the importance we attach to community policing.
The Burkina Faso National Police is one of the 3 security forces in charge of internal security in Burkina Faso. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
Construction engineers and experts demonstrate that if 90% of construction equipment would be found in Rwanda, it would reduce 40% of houses' costs and contribute to the implementation of eco-friendly, sustainable urbanization. Prince Manzi has more on this report.
Eric Twambazimana tackles on how unaffordable it is to construct a house in Kigali city. With the cost that is still high and construction process still difficult, it is hard to say that someone have to build his own house in Kigali. Philemon Byiringiro of the Cleaner Production and Climate Innovation, a center that lies under the National Industrial Research and Development Agency, demonstrate that most of the construction equipments are found in Rwanda. Bricks can be used in making a foundation and the wall. You can easily have a nice wall without using paint, just bricks or woods. You can also cover with asbestos, and all these are available in Rwanda. The Rwanda Institute of Architects convened various personnel, including entrepreneurs, to analyze the implementation of the eco-friendly sustainable urbanization. The executive secretary of the institute, Emmanuel Nyirinkindi, demonstrated that there are equipments that can be placed in houses that will prevent losses even after construction. Equipment supplying water are also to meet the standard for helping in saving up. When you go on the market, you have to know the rate of water it supplies, for instance, and know if that amount is what you really need. All these information are gathered. The Director General of the Rwanda Housing Authority, Alphonse Rukaburandekwe, states that the standard of construction equipment found locally and imported is checked.
ngira ngo muzi neza ko dukorana n'ikigo gitsura ubuziranenge bw'ibikoresho.
We work closely with the Rwanda Bureau of Standards so that we check the standard of the imported and locally found equipment. We also have a department that mainly analyzes the standard of the houses being constructed as well as the equipment being used.
n'ibikoresho bikoreshwa byuzuye ubuziranenge.
In the NST1, the government of Rwanda aims at having an urbanization rate of 35% by 2024, from 18% in 2017. This rate currently is on 29.7%. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
On behalf of the news production team and I, we would like to thank you very much for sticking with us on RTV News. My name is Martin Abera. Stay safe and have a great night.